So I just have a few closing remarks before we go get our box lunches and go our separate ways. I think the conference was pretty successful. We had a larger, thank you, we had a larger audience than in many previous conferences. I think we had like 132 or something registered. So anyway, this continues to seem to be a valuable conference. I just wanted to go through, so Paul left, I don't know if he's here. Yeah, there he is. Paul has a couple of slides. So putting this conference together is a lot of work. The TPC that Paul led, he's given a big thank you. We came up with some of the topics. We ran through all the submitted sessions and did the reviews and put everything together. Bill and the marketing crowd did a lot of work. Then, packaging those into topic areas for the conference. So a lot of work went on there, and we're thanking everybody. And also the Nereus team, as I said, and all of the people who've helped Bill put this together. Huge thanks to them as well. So the only other thing, I was going to just give a few little highlights from our town hall last night. It was very successful. From my opinion, we had quite a few people in the room, lots of different opinions. So we did not disband the OFA overnight. That's the first takeaway. I thought about saying something else. Apparently, the April Fool's jokes are hitting the internet today. So I was going to give an April Fool's joke, but I decided not to. But some of the highlights as far as issues or problems that were kind of discussed or brought up. RDMA is basically kind of a niche thing, and we need to accept that, and we need to deal with it and figure out how to deal with it, right? Because one of the related issues is having basically street cred with the core kernel developers and getting in touch with them and not talking past each other with stuff that maybe we've already solved, and then also us not doing stuff that's in conflict maybe with what's already in the kernel. So one of the other things about RDMA being kind of niche, and it's an HPC thing, HPC focused, we talked about marketing the HPC aspect. Somebody actually said, HPC changes lives. And that sounds kind of pie in the sky, but it's kind of true. I work at a national laboratory, and I fluctuate between getting tired of the whole thing because it's just a total pain, lots of overhead. But it's one of the largest nonprofits, right? And we do fundamental scientific research that does benefit basically everybody in the room at some point. And other places do the same thing. So that is actually a valid marketing tagline. The other thing that we talked about doing is there are lots of other workshops and conferences that focus on maybe the kernel, or they focus on OpenStack and cloud, or they focus on persistent memory, and that perhaps the OFA as an entity should have representation or should attend those conferences. So people within the OFA who are concerned about those things as they affect the RDMA stack could attend those conferences under the auspices of the OFA to represent not just their interest as a LANL employee or an Intel employee or Mellanox or whatever, but as trying to represent the wider community. And that could help, get exposure and that sort of thing. Another thing that was mentioned is, again, kind of in concert with the RDMA's niche thing. There aren't really any deployment guides online about, how do you make an LNet router speak InfiniBand, or how do you make OpenMPI? How do you optimize it to use OPA versus IB, and that sort of thing. So maybe that's an opportunity for the OpenFabrics Alliance to do some work in that arena. And in order to get to some of these things, some changes to the conference were suggested. All those things will have to be reviewed with the logistics of whether or not we can do these kinds of things. But maybe it is time to have, one day or half a day where there's parallel tracks for, users versus developers, because it is hard as a deployer, a user. I hate the term user. Makes you sound like a drug addict. But the people who are deploying this stuff, sometimes it's scary to get up here and talk in front of all these like wicked smart people that are doing stuff that like you can't even pronounce, and it's, you know, so maybe having a separate track for some of that, or maybe having an afternoon where it's free form and it's 2 days into the conference where you've met these people and you want to talk with them, like get into the nitty-gritty about how you solve some problems. So all these ideas, you know, for making the conference a little more valuable. Most people felt it was an extremely valuable conference, and there is a lot of diversity at this conference. We have cloud people here, or at least people working on cloud, you know, persistent memory, and all of these aspects that, you know, they're diverse and they're here in the room. So we're going to continue doing this. We're going to maybe try to change things around the edge. We don't want to change things wholesale. We want to get, you know, more street cred with some of these other organizations. And that's about all the takeaway that I had. So I just want to thank you guys for being here. And I don't know if there are any simple questions. We don't want to like open the floor to a whole new, you know, continue the town hall. It lasted quite a while, and it was valuable. So if you do have other feedback that you want to, you know, you can write me directly or something like that, and because you didn't get a chance during the town hall, that's cool too. So that's all I have. Thank you.